Isosceles Parrot, and this is the start of a new series called Life as a Warg. This series is going to look at PVMP as a Warg in Lotro. And today I'm going to start by talking about the Ettenmoors itself, for those who haven't looked at monster play or maybe free play or PvP at all really in Lotro. And to begin, we'll look at the map of the area where PvP takes place, the Ettenmoors. Most of the PvP will take place around these three keeps: Tirithraw, Tolaskanen and Lugazag. The reason that it will take place is because there's a spawn here for the monsters or creeps, and free peoples or freeps there's a spawn just here. Now currently you can see the keeps owned by the freeps are blue. Now they're red when they're creep side and blue when they're freep side. And there's also two keeps above and below. You've got below Grimwood Lumber Camp and above Eisendeep. There's less PVMP around these areas, mainly because they're really out of your way, having to travel all the way up there or around there. Now there's also Orc Camp and Elf Camp. These are quite good areas to stay because you can camp around there, as the name suggests, because you've got NPCs from your fellow side helping you fight, so you can draw in the opposing team and farm them, vice versa. You could be overrun if there's too many of the other team. There's not as much defense as in a keep. Now, creep characters themselves are much like freep characters. They've got the same sort of stats, except you've got a specific damage, health and power stat. And they all have active and passive skills and traits. Now the traits are slightly different in some respects, because the first line is corruption. Now in the corruption line you've got health for power, and this is a type of corruption where you exchange one stat for another. So health for power, or damage for power, or power for health, or something along those lines. So you can have those in corruption, or you can have straight resistance boosts. So I've got two physical mitigation boosts just there, as you can see. Racial works in the same way. If you play a Warg, you can get access to all the same passive skills, similar to how a human would work on the other side. And class skills can be active or passive, so I've got a sprint cooldown which is passive, and then flare stance which is active, which is similar to how a class trait line would work. The final one, I don't have anything equipped, but that's an appearance slot where it's purely cosmetic and it just changes the skin of your character. Now as a new player you're probably best by starting questing, because as I can show you by the trainer, all of the skills operate within a currency called commendations, and they vary in prices. So active skills are around 2,000, passives vary anyway from 500 to 6,000, and traits can be up to 7.5 and as low as 1,000. And you'll start probably with hardly any at all, or nothing at all. So you want to start in Gramsfoot, which is this location where you'll spawn, and pick up a few quests from the surrounding NPCs and complete them, because if I can show you, some of them will show you commendations as a reward or increased infamy, both of which are good for you. Infamy is the way ranks work, so this is an add-on I've got, but it shows you how much infamy I've earned and the percent I'm through to the next level. And the more infamy, the higher the rank. Now there's a recent addition called Audacity, which I showed you on the trainer back there, and this works as increasing your survivability. And you start off with rank 1, it increases up to rank 7, and it increases your survivability, so it makes you probably mainly see it, the difference in soloing. One-on-one you're going to notice it, but in a raid you'll probably be alright with a lower rank. At the moment myself I'm only 3 out of 7, and there you can see the stats that it changes. Now this isn't going to be a priority for a new player. A priority for a new player will be getting all of your active skills by doing the quests, and you also get gold from killing the monsters for which you do the quests. And I recommend that you buy some potions, which I've got just here, and they can help increase the survivability that you will be lacking from not having such a high audacity. Now the best part of the Ettenmoors is raiding and getting a big group of people together and having massive fights. And as a new player, you could probably start doing that straight away if you liked, but if you really do get bored of questing, then I recommend that you just do the daily repeatables and then the rest of the time play PvP. But it is important that you do some form of repeatable quest to get some commendations behind you. Another reason for you to do these daily quests and repeatable quests is because you get access to different maps. Now, Freeps start here and they have a mount, they can ride around quite quickly and easily, but Creeps don't get any form of mount throughout the whole game, so you want to do quests at the various keeps and they will give you access to the locations just to map to. So if I map here, it will show you me travelling to Toliskanen from the Steppes of Gram very simply and easily. So if you can't face the quests, you really should try and do some, and there's a few of which are straight killing other players, so definitely pick up those when you start and do PvP and get rewarded for it even more so. So this is the map and you can now see that I'm just outside Toliskanen. The final thing to look at is the outposts. Now there's various outposts dotted around the map and you can do a daily quest which rewards you with commendations and infamy for capturing the outpost. Now an outpost isn't as big as a keep, you can tackle it with a few players, 6 is an ideal number. Just have a fellowship go down and take control of one of those, and you should try and capture one of those daily because you do really get a good reward for 5 minutes work. And if you control 3 or more, there's 5 in total, so if you have the majority over the opposing faction, you have access from Dargazag as a creep to the Delving 4, which is a PvE based area underneath the Ettenmoors, and in this area you can get some high level bosses which will need a raid to tackle, and it's fun when you can get a group for it, but because the main focus is PvP it's slightly harder to get a group for it. So you don't really need to consider that at an early stage as a new player in the Ettenmoors. And I really do recommend, if you are a Lotro player, that you do hop across onto the Monster Place side, because it's really easy to just get stuck in with some PvP, and I know that the Lotro Freep side is very PvE focused, so if you wanted a bit of a change I would recommend you give it a go. And it can be great fun when you've got loads of monsters overrunning the Freeps and pushing them back to the keep, and then the adrenaline of capturing it all and capturing your first keep is really good fun. So give it a go. By the way, just to note that F2P players can get access to Monster Play. You have to pay if you want to play on the other side, but I only am a free-to-play player and I'm quite happily walking around here. So even if you don't pay, you still have access to this. And in the next episode I plan to actually show you some PvP, really get involved, maybe with some raiding, and show you what the Ettenmoors is all about. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.